Hello everyone, it is Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. Of course, today was New Comic Book Day, which means right now it's time for the new comic book video. Wasn't a real large week for books this week, but there were some titles that were really blowing off the shelves, including a couple of independents that I was very excited about. And then I have a comment that I'm going to make as it relates to the future of DC and how they're planning on doing their books down the line. And then lastly, I had a call from a viewer today who asked me a question that we discussed as it relates to Mylaring oversized annuals and, 52-page, 100-page giants. So I'm going to show you how I do it, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So the first book I picked up, Batgirl Number 50. This is a second print. This didn't come out today, but this was a book that I didn't see a lot of, and then I went to a shop and they said, hey, we have one of these. Do you want it? Yes, I do. Got it for cover price. Of course, 50 was the last of the Batgirl storyline, so I was happy to add that one. And then from Future State, next Batman number 2. I wasn't wild about the first Batman from Future State, but being the Batman fan that I am, I was going to give it a shot, so I'm going to get this one. I got this one here. Only one copy, and then we'll talk about, a little bit more of that in just a little bit. And then this was a cover purchase, Nightwing Future State number 1. I like it because he's standing on the Arkham Gate. I thought that was really, really cool. Really nice book. And then I'll read the story. I heard there's supposed to be a pretty good storyline coming up on that Nightwing. So not that I'm a huge Nightwing fan, but I will give anything a read if its story is good. And then finally, the last DC book, Future State, The Immortal Wonder Woman issue number 1. I don't know how this is going to be, but this has a visit from the last Amazons. So I thought I would just grab one of those. And that was it for DC, only 3 titles. Next up, King in Black, number 3. This was the Alien variant. Got that. Thought it was pretty cool looking right there. And then one of the hot books that was coming out, and this is the last of the Marvel books I picked up. This is Daredevil Number 25, second print. Of course, Elektra right there. And then again, these were selling really good. I was able to pick up, a couple of these that I pre-ordered, so I was happy to get those right there. Really nice looking cover. And who knows what they're going to do with that character moving forward. But you know what? It's a new cover of a character, and Daredevil has a good following, so we'll see where that goes. And then a couple of, we go to the independents, a couple of back issues I picked up. Strictly one just because I thought it was a cool looking cover. That is from Image. This is Lady Killer number 5. Thought that was a really cool cover. Heard they're trying to do a TV show on this. I think the concept was really good because I thought the story of this was really good. If you haven't read the first, series of Lady Killer, go ahead and read it because it's a really, really good book. That's Lady Killer from Dark Horse number 5. And then this one, I love Kanto. It was one of those stories that I told everybody about before it came out that I was going to be all over because I just thought the concept of the story was really good. And I was just looking at some back issues, picked up a number 2 for cover price. Not that this is an expensive book, but it sells, $8 to $10. It was $3.99. I think I got it for like $2.99. They gave me a little deal on it. But first print right there, really cool cover of a really good story. That first story run was really, really good. And then now for the independents, one of the books I talked about back in November or, late November. I can't remember the exact date I did that. But I mentioned this book the same time I mentioned Scout's Honor, Serial, and Ha Ha. This was the 4th book that I mentioned. This is I Breathed a Body number 1 from Aftershock. Really looking forward to reading this one. This was selling really, really well. Shops didn't get tons and tons of copies of it, but it was selling pretty good. I Breathed the Body number 1. And then another book that sold really well because there's a lot of hype on this being done as a TV show. This is from Boom Studios. This is Abbott 1973, issue number 1. There's cover A and cover B. So I'll read that one too because, like I said, Boom Studios, Aftershock, a lot of the independents are coming out with the best storylines. So I'm going to be all over those when I have a chance to get them. Next up, this was pretty much a cover purchase. This is from Image. This is The Scumbag number 4. Just kind of an orgy type scene right there. And then I'm not real big on variants, but I saw this one. It was a 1 in 10 for The Scumbag. number 4, and I saw it and I'm like, you know what, I'm all over this because it's just a real funny cover. This was the 1 in 10 variant for Scumbag right there. I think I paid $7 for this book, but it's just, to me, it's funny. It's a really funny book, nice cover, so I was going to be all over that. This is just something just to add to the collection. And then finally, a book, you know, that I talked about that I was kind of looking forward to. A decent story, not that the storyline is really, really great as it relates to a vampire storyline, but this is a really cool cover. This is my cover of the week, in my opinion. This is Philadelphia number 12. Just a great looking cover right there. Again, all black cover, and I was really impressed about how most of these books came in really, really good condition, really high grade, because it's real hard to find these with the all black covers, because even the smallest chip or the, you know, even the most minimal of color breaks show up really big on a black cover. And then I picked up a few copies of this because I just absolutely loved this copy, and I think it's something, I love the cover, and I think it's something that people are really going to be looking at as a cover purchase down the line. And then I got a call from a viewer, and he was saying, you know, I watch your videos and I love your channel, so I thank you for that. You know who you are. And then he asked me, he has trouble finding Mylar for thick annuals and 100-page giants, and what I use, or do I have any suggestions? So what I use is Mylights 2. This is from E. Gerber. You can get 50 silver and golden age. I think I pay $12.99, $13 for a pack of 50 of these right here. And again, this is the Mylight 2s. This is the silver golden age size right here. The size of that is 7 3/4 by 10 1/2, and it has a 1 1/2 inch flap on top. So yeah, $14.99. Price is right there. $14.99 for a pack of 50. But if you're doing vintage books, that's a minimal price to pay to protect your vintage books. So I get a Mylight 2. I will use 2 Golden Age book boards, regular Golden Age boards. And I like to use halfbacks on certain vintage books, especially Golden Age. I will definitely use vintage, and then just certain higher grade quality, you know, golden, silver, even Bronze Age stuff from the, you know, early to late 70s. And I will use 1 halfback. So 3 boards total, 2 regular Golden Age and 1 halfback. I get these from E. Gerber as well. I don't know the price I pay on these. I get them at a shop here, but it's not too expensive. You get, no, packs of 100, and then you do the 2 Golden Age boards on the bottom, the 1 E. Gerber halfback, you know, on top with the ridge side facing the back of the book. So you got basically the 3 levels, halfback, Golden Age, and once you put everything together, this is what your book comes out looking like right here. You can see there's plenty of room on the side. Now this is a 100-page giant, so a lot of the, you can kind of see it right there. This is a really nice high-grade version of this book right here. This one here is The Unexpected, 100 pages. This is number 160. Absolutely love the 70s, especially the you know, Unexpected, Witching Hour. This was from 1974. Again, this is a upper grade version of this, but this will help protect your thicker comics for, you know, 100-page giants, you know, annuals that are a little bigger than just regular Mylar can handle. Now, in order to store these, because that was his question, these won't fit in a regular box. You have to buy, when you do it this style, you have to buy a magazine style box in order to store books like that. But that's not a big deal because you want your books to be protected. This protects the books. And again, that just looks really, really nice right there. So there was that. And then finally, there's a lot of, you know, people talking about Future State by DC. Of course, DC has been going through a ton of change as it relates to their employees, their writers, their artists, everything now. I think they were purchased by, if I'm not mistaken, AT&T. And so now, you know, as soon as that purchase happened, everything was going to be about streamlining, profit, making money, not caring too much about the product. Now, the problem I have with Future State is I show you a couple books that I bought. They're coming out with new characters in almost every storyline. There was tons of storylines. And if you go to the comic book shop in your area, you'll see people with stacks of Future State. The problem I have is that there is a tremendous cost discrepancy between one title and the next. I showed you the Nightwing book. The Nightwing was $3.99. The Batman was $7.99. Now, granted, the Batman book was a little bit thicker, but even for like the B cover or the C cover that had the new Batman on the cover of it, that was a $8.99 book. I don't want to pay $9, $10 for a new comic book, especially something, you know, like Future State. I mean, I've heard rumors, and there's some articles out there that you can try to investigate yourself on that if you notice, like on the back of the Batman book, the first, I think it was the Dark Detective, had a grifter storyline on the back of the book. DC is now talking about getting rid of certain titles, keeping a Batman book, and then putting one of the titles that they get rid of as a 6, 7, 8 pager in the back of the Batman book, or the, you know, the detective book, or whatever hot book is coming out. And then all they're going to do is just charge you more money for it. I don't agree with that. I think your paper quality is terrible. I think you're cutting the quality of the books. If you look at a lot of the Future State books, you know, you don't have to believe me, but if you look at a lot of the Future State books, there's a lot of damage on the spines. Not so much damage, but you can see where the paper quality is so poor that you start seeing on the spine, you know, staple side, you can start seeing white cracks in the cheap paper that you're using. That happened a lot last week with Teen Titans. There was a lot of issues with some of the, you know, cracking of the spine, you know, just minor, but it stands out when you have a dark cover. A little crack like that will stand out. So my deal is, look, I'm not going to buy a lot of DC. I might even stop buying DC altogether, which is real tough for me because being a Batman fan, Joker fan, you know, I really don't want to get into that, but I'm not going to sit there and feed into someone's greed that is kind of screwing the collector. All we want from as a comic book community is good art and a good storyline. And there has been some really good storylines that have been selling really well. And that's just kind of the, you know, if you look at it, Something is Killing the Children, the Immortal Hulk storyline has been really, really good. You put out a good story, people will buy your books. I wish companies, and not so much, this isn't just on DC, but this is DC and Marvel, because independents do a pretty good job of using better quality paper, and they've been putting out really good stories. Just put out good stories. Pay for the right artists, pay for the right writers, put out good stories, give the community and give the fans what they want, and we will spend our money. If you don't, you risk losing a community. And I mean, DC's got, you know, they got some of the big guns, you know, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Superman. I mean, there's tons of them out there. So I mean, I just don't agree with that. And then, you know, so that was like my little DC thing. I'm thinking about just stopping DC altogether, just to kind of, you know, until they get better things. I might buy one book once in a while, and I'm probably going to give the Batman a little bit more chance. And I did enjoy the first issue of Dark Detective. Number one, I did enjoy that storyline, so I'm looking forward to the next one on that. So there was that. Not really a rant per se, but just kind of my personal opinion. These are all my personal opinions, but I would like to hear your feedback on that in the comment section. And then finally, I had a viewer, not really, I don't think he's really a viewer, but he came up to me and he said, hey, I had my mask on in the shop, like you should be. Everybody should be wearing their mask. And he said, are you Arkham? Are you the guy who does Arkham comics? I said, I am. And he said, well, I saw your video last week and I really didn't appreciate your comment as it relates to flippers and speculators, that you say they're hurting the community because, you know, I flip. I buy books and I flip them. And I said, well, you know, then you're hurting the industry, in my opinion. It's my opinion. And he just got real nasty about it. And I was like, look, you know, if you're buying books and you're going to go out there, and he was trying to buy like 4 of the Daredevil 25-second prints. And it was one of those things where it's like, you know, you're going to buy those books, you're immediately going to run home, you're going to throw them up on eBay and try to make a couple of $1 profit on it. You're going to feel real good about yourself. But the person who really wants the book because he likes the storyline or just wants to add it to his personal Daredevil collection is going to be left out in the cold. And you really don't care about that. And he's like, I don't. It's my money and it's all about making money. And he said, if you know, don't tell me that you don't try to make money on books. And I said, okay, you're right. And I thought about that. But here's my take on it. I buy books, I put them away. Now I have Something Is Killing the Children. Matter of fact, I'll show you. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay. You're right. Something Is Killing the Children. 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 All number ones. All extremely high grade. And what do they all have in common? I'm not throwing them up on eBay to make a quick buck. My thing is this. 2 years from now, or whenever I open up a space and I start selling things, if I have that book on the wall and it's going for $85 at that time, because right now it's selling for over $200, you know how I look at it? I made a huge profit because I paid cover for it. Was it $3.99 when it came out? That's what I paid for it. I'm not trying to make the fast dollar. I don't care about that. If I buy this book and I pay, what was it, $3.99? $4.99. So I paid $5 for this book, and a year from now I sell it and it's $9. That's a $4 profit to me. That's how I look at it. I don't try to make a killing. The problem we have with this industry is people buying these books for $3.99, trying to sell them for $40, $50, $60. I don't look at it that way. And I've had a lot of people tell me, you leave a lot of money on the table when you don't flip your books like that. I don't care about that, because my thought process is this. If over the course of a year I spend $5,000 on books, and then when I try to sell those books, those same books, I sell them with, some are higher than I paid for them, some are less than what I paid for them, but I sell them for, $8,000, $9,000. That's a $3,000, $4,000 profit on my original investment. And that's a good price point. That's a good selling factor. Now, a lot of people don't look at it that way because they're like, oh, you're just trying to figure, trying to make a quick dollar here and there. Well, I'm not trying to make a quick dollar. I'm not flipping them, because if I was, I'd be flipping those books right now on Something Is Killing the Children at the price point where it's at, because it might not go any higher than they are right now. And there's some hard ones to find. They'll sell very, very quickly, but that's not the way I do things. And so there was that. I mean, I'm not out there. So the person who made that comment about me, leaving money on the table and I'm just trying to make a buck as well. I don't sell my books. I don't flip my books. There are books that I have sold, but I'm not flipping them for a quick profit. So that was more of a ramble than anything else. But, that's not me saying, ooh, look at all the Something Is Killing the Children number ones that I have. I have more number ones than that. I'm just not here trying to sell them to make a quick dollar. If I'm starving, then maybe I'll do something like that, but I'm not starving, so there was that. So again, that was pretty much kind of a rant at the end, or a little ramble at the end. I'm sorry it kind of got a little long there. But, little things like that kind of irritate me. My comments that I make are based off of my opinion. You can think whatever you want about me, but the one thing people can't say is that I'm not a greedy person. I'm not trying to squeeze every dollar out of this industry and community, because I just don't sell books to do that. I have a plan, I have a focus, I have a vision, and I'm going to get that vision, whether it takes, long. It's obviously going to take longer because of everything going on in this country with the pandemic. And so it is what it is. Arkham Comics isn't going anywhere. I'm going to be here for the long haul, and I look forward to, building this community back up. Whether DC's part of that future or not, I have no idea. But that was it. Again, I appreciate all the positive comments I get. I appreciate when people come up to me and say they don't agree with what I say. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. I've always wanted that back and forth, conversation. But again, try to cut it short because I know I'm rambling a little bit, and I know there's going to be people saying, oh, you just rambled on. Well, sorry, that happens sometimes. So there was that. If you're a subscriber to the channel, thank you for subscribing. Hit that little bell down there so you know when the new videos come out, as I'm stumbling over my words. If you know somebody who might enjoy the channel, tell them about it, let them subscribe. So that's pretty much all we have this week. Hope you liked the video, but as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great, great day. Happy hunting, and try to get yourself one of those Philadelphia, covers, because I think it's going to be really hot down the line.